This is the US dollar shift that nobody announced. In fact, it was announced quietly, and I'm so glad that I'm subscribed and that I see other news channels that are international in the Gulf states, in the Middle East, in China, because guess what? Dubai, Qatar, Saudi Arabia have all agreed to do something that Iran has wanted them to do for a long time. You see, this war created the perfect recipe, the ideal scenario for the Gulf states to finally say, we secede and we are going to allow our oil to be traded, not in petrodollar the way it has been for like the past 70 years, but in Chinese yuan. Yes, these countries have now said that they are agreeing to allow their oil to be traded in yuan with other countries because, contrary to popular belief, a lot of Americans believe that America is the center of the world, but in fact it's not. I mean, we have so many countries out here on this side of the world. You have Kyrgyzstan, Afghanistan, India, China, Russia, Latvia, Romania. You have all these places, Egypt, everywhere, all across the world that is not on the same side as America that needs this oil. And they're saying, hey, we are ready to let them pay in yuan and to mostly use yuan as our new Middle Eastern reserve global currency.
Yeah, things kind of move different on this side of the world. This is why we always tell people it's good to travel. It's good to be abroad. It's good to like go to different countries with different customs, with different systems, because you start to realize how they do things on this side of the world. And I can see with the countries that my wife just mentioned, they're probably very similar when it comes down to like community, when it comes down to the way of life, when it comes down to family and things like that.
For sure.
And this is something that we notice just like being on this side of the world. It's totally opposite from America. It's totally opposite from the West of how people live. I guess of how people build too and do business. You get what I'm saying? So it is something important to realize what's happening. It's happening for a reason. As we always say, it's going to be that side of the world or this side of the world. And we can see this happening slowly but surely. You have to understand that this is going to happen no matter what. However you feel, however you don't feel about it, it doesn't matter. These things are going to happen, and it's going to just come out of nowhere because these systems was in place for years. So I'll let you keep going because I want to say something else about the payment system too.
Yes, that's real because listen, these Gulf nations are ready for a working alternative. And we have not seen this at any time in our lives. All of us who are alive today are used to a world that says America is the capital of all things on earth. We have not lived in a world where America is not the petrodollar dominant system anymore. We have not lived in a world that is multipolar. We have not even lived in a world that's at war. I mean, some of our grandparents were in the Great Depression and things of that nature, but that's about as close as it gets to us that are under 60 years old that are like, wow, this stuff is changing. Hence why Wall Street said more than ever before, Americans are fleeing America. It's not fake. It's not a conspiracy. It's data and statistics that are coming out showing you what's happening. Now, before it was prophetic, before it was, this is what's going to happen, but we're in 2026 now. This is what's happening in real time. And get this, recent reports are showing Gulf nations are discussing yuan-based oil transactions. Some oil flows and payments are already being settled in yuan. Now, ships that are going through the Strait of Hormuz have in certain cases already paid Chinese yuan for their oil to continue to transit. This is not theory. This is early adaptation to a new global system where the dollar and America are not the center of the earth anymore. But here's why war actually accelerated this system adaptation and how things are changing quicker than ever before. Because before the war, the system was stable. Petrodollar, yes, we know BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, they want to do a gold-backed currency. Yes, we know people want to de-dollarize. But quite honestly, there's no BRICS currency that you're going to go get right now. There's nothing really happening with that that's like tangible. It's just hearsay and news and we're going to de-dollarize, we're going to de-dollarize. Well, guess what? The Iran war was the perfect situation to bring about de-dollarization just within a month. Remember, it's only been about 4 to 6 weeks since this conflict has even been happening. Now, in old times, oil flowed, the dollar dominated the world, and everything was fine. But when war came, it disrupted every single thing. The Strait of Hormuz, which is one of the world's best oil transit routes, one of the most critical ones, was nearly shut down. Over $50 billion in oil supply has been lost since the conflict began. Now, money talks, resources talk. So these Gulf states, they used to be like America, 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 allies to America. We're investing in Arizona. We're investing in Nevada. We're in these pictures with Trump. They're now like, I think we better just trade in Yuan. See, Iran is a little bit too close to us, the way they keep sending these missiles out here in Dubai. Dubai was the #1 targeted region in the Gulf states that was targeted by those missiles that Iran was sending. And so that threat of violence that's so close to home just completely overrided any alliance that the Gulf states had with America. And global energy markets were thrown into uncertainty in that environment. And these countries don't wait. They have to move and adjust with the times.
Yeah, and I do want to say this. It's not going to be like changed overnight. This is that they're telling you, and this is what we always tell people. They're telling you things before it happens. So this is going to take time. So even when they change the gold currency, like the gold back US dollar to petrodollar, that took time. So don't think like, oh, it's just going to be a snap of a finger and everything's just going to change. No, this is going to take time. A lot of people have to realize that, you know, the US dollar is everywhere in the world. So they're slowly, even from, I want to say 2022, African countries started to say like, we're not accepting US dollar anymore, slowly. And
well,
now
they said
this
it
is
before
2026.
That.
Yeah.
Like in Tanzania, you're not
time.
trading with dollar, you're trading with shilling.
Yeah, but I'm saying like you can't come and transfer the dollar. So they're slowly telling you what's going on.
Foreign exchange.
Yeah, they're slowly telling you what's going on because the Chinese yuan is not the US dollar. You have to realize that. So this is something that it's an understanding, and you have to get the information about or for and about, because you know, obviously China is still getting 90% of oil from the Middle East right there. So of course Iran is saying yuan. If they want to trade anything else, you know, it's probably going to be some type of cryptocurrency that's being traded too. So that's becoming into play too. So I'm telling you, things are changing super fast. Things are moving behind the scenes. Systems are shifting, but you got to realize, how can these systems be shifting in real time?
Exactly. And in times of war, things happen with a quickness because, again, remember, this is just 4 to 6 weeks. Just 2 months ago, it would have been unheard of for anybody in the Strait of Hormuz to even trade in Chinese yuan at all. But seemingly overnight, or just within a month or so, there has been a motivation with recovery and control that says, listen, we have sustained so many damages. We don't even know how much these damages are. I'm sure they know, but I haven't looked up the numbers recently. There's so much damage that they've sustained that it's like, hey, our economies, our water resources, our energy, our oil, our tourism, everything is down to zero. And for them, it hasn't been like that since they arose in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. And so they know they have to make a move quickly. So literally with the flip of a switch, which is war that's continuing because Iran has already said there aren't going to be any peace talks today. Trump is telling you that him and JD Vance are going to Pakistan and Islamabad to meet with Iran. Iran has come out and said, we're not doing any more peace talks. This is war, war, war. And so Iran is very serious. Iran is like, bring your yuan. Don't bring the petrodollar. We don't want it over here. They killed 40 of our leaders. We're done. It's a wrap for the dollar. And it's going to happen seemingly overnight, especially because a lot of people are not seeing behind the scenes to understand what's going on. So the question now becomes, how do we protect ourselves moving forward? One answer is simple: reduce dependency. Now, there are accounts that you can open while in America that allow you to also hold Chinese yuan, Australian dollar, Mauritian rupee. There are accounts that you can open stateside. This is why we do in the Mature Adult Intensive things that you need to prepare for stateside. Your move abroad does not start in Africa. It does not. If your move abroad starts in Africa with just traveling and having fun, you're already failing, because there's a strategy that you need before you ever jump on a plane to travel abroad to ensure that you can make it abroad for more than 6 years, for more than 5, 4, 3, whatever amount of years that you plan to make it abroad. And get this, the yuan is going to be used as a strategic tool because China has positioned itself as a consistent buyer of oil, like you were saying, even under pressure. China depends on oil. Everybody depends on oil, but especially China, because they are a world superpower that does not have Venezuela down the block that they just captured to get their oil. So they are hyper dependent on Iran's oil. And they already purchased a large share of sanctioned oil flows. Now, technically to Americans, you can't purchase something that's sanctioned. Well, they already have. They already started. It doesn't matter if it's been sanctioned in America in an NYC courtroom. They said if they want to buy the oil from Russia, they're going to buy it. If they want to buy it from Iran, they're going to buy it, and that's that. And it has already built systems to transact outside of American currency and Western channels. And they're willing to settle for their own currency. Of course, they're China. They're not going to object to trading and settling and transferring in yuan. Now, at this rate, it's not a total replacement of the dollar, because you do have Europe that is still Western and still relies on America for many things, but it is a second lane. It is a race that's now being started for positions 1 and 2, where America and China are going back and forth with each other until China eventually wins this race. And like you were saying, it's not going to be implemented overnight, not within the next 24 hours, but surely within the next couple of months, we're going to see some huge changes on the international trading stage if this war does not end. And I'm going to tell you, I've been looking at the Iranians. They don't plan on ending it. Trump is the only one who plans on ending it. Trump is the one that said, we're not going to be here much longer. Iran said, oh no, you just killed 40 of our leaders. Let's continue. Let's drag it out. Why don't we just do this forever? Because Iran needs their chance to hit back at America the way that America hit at them.
Iran, they're not going to stop. As you was just saying, it's I guess America went too far. So, you know, this is about leverage. It's not about, you know, collapse, or I guess it is about collapsing the U.S. economy, because war is finance and they are attacking the U.S. dollar. So Iran, they just want to have that leverage over their
enemy,
their land in a way. I guess the Strait of Hormuz. You get what I'm saying? Because that is like right there by Iran. You get what I'm saying? And that is a big powerhouse. That is a place where a lot of money moves through. I want to say it was like 500 million a day. Once they really are flowing properly, 500 million a day. That's a lot of money right there.
And it's going to increase because the oil rates are up.
Exactly. Well, it's trying to stable out, but for this time, we just have to watch and see, especially today, because Trump was saying some crazy stuff about, you know, taking the power plants, taking their energy and things like that out. So things are going to be changing pretty fast.
What do you want? You want to say hi?
It's a car.
Yes, and listen, that's about it for this video because it's a wrap. It's a wrap for the US dollar. It's a wrap for the petrodollar dominance. It's just a wrap all across the board. But let me know, how are you planning on diversifying? Or if you need help with diversifying, go to www.journeywithusmovetoafrica.com/services to read the mature adult enrollment guide, because these changes are going to happen whether you like it, whether your cousins like it, whether your family likes it, whether President Donald Trump likes it or not.
And one more thing, we did change also the mature adult attentive day. We changed it to Sunday because a couple people said they worked throughout the week, like Monday is usually on Monday, but we did change it to Sunday so these people can join and like be present with the group. So that's something that we changed. So things are changing, we change too. So, you know, you got to adjust with the times. Make sure you like the video, leave your comments below, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Shalom.